Hi, Plastered Finger again. Right, today I'm going to be trying to fit a rock and roll bed instead of the Danbury bed. The Danbury bed folded out from here, hit this, had to put up legs here, stops you getting in here with a gas bottle and plenty of storages. Also the water bottle runs down here as well. So I went online and I got hinges like this from NLAVW, and they sent me a set of instructions which meant I had to make up this little plate first. You see how it works? That gives you a nice flat bed there. Measuring these distances will give me the back. Then I can measure how far it comes here, which I think is 42 inches for the back, no, 42 centimetres for the back, 48 inches for the front, and then with the bit at the back, that gives me a 6 foot bed. I'm 6 foot tall, that's good enough. Right, so, I'm going to start stripping this out now. I'll just pan round a little bit. As you can see, I've taken out most of the interior. It's been difficult, some of the screws have been in there a long time. Now, we've got to the point now where we need to start putting in hinges. This hinge is going to go in there that way round on the second crenellation. Let's call them crenellations, why not? Then we're going to have to fiddle with this to get it to lie flat. So I can't get this out because there's a cupboard on this side here that I can't move. I cannot work out how to get this cupboard out. So I can't get this board up, so I'm going to have to cut out where I want this to go. This side, as you can see, I can peel back enough to cut the carpet here. The other side's going to be a little more problematic. So, here goes to cutting the carpet and getting this over here, this drilled into place, ready to sort out what's going on with the wooden bit. I can take that off and put it back on again anyway. Just cut that little bit of carpet out from there. As you can see now, fits snugly up there. Have to cut out a little bit of carpet there as well now. You drill that hole there, put a couple of pilot holes in there, cut out that little bit of carpet, and the next thing then, fix it all in place. Okay, hole drilled, carpet cut. Goes up there. Let's just quickly cut this bit of carpet down here. There we go. To secure that hinge in there, I need to put a captive nut underneath that will crush up. So I'll pop that in. I don't run off and buy an expensive piece of gadget. I use a piece of wood with a hole drilled in it, 6mm socket, 6mm spanner, tighten the bolt up and that crushes that bit up there, so the little bits with the marks on them spread out and trap it inside. Right. Literally, the nut goes on the screw or bolt. Goes through here. That then tightens up in there. It's the easy way of doing it. Of course, that tightens up in there. A little bit proud, you know you've got a good purchase then. Goes in there, goes on there. Right. With a 10mm socket on top, and a 10mm spanner below, we get that tightened up. Obviously I'm going to be in the way, so I'll show you when I've done it. That's that in place there nicely now. I kind of messed up the nut by not realising that I got it tight enough already. I guess the trick is when you realise you're rounding off the nut, it's probably tight enough. So, that bolt may or may not work another one. The nut certainly won't. So, to position us in the hinge there now, that goes on there. Still need it to lose a bit from there. Okay. There you go. Right. Countersunk screw going neatly in the captive nut we just put in there. If I can work out how to get it in there. Okay. In over tightening that I may have damaged the thread, so I'll put another little nut in first, clean it out, and then go in with the there you go. In with the M6 countersunk screw. We've got that temporarily screwed in there. We cut the carpet, put the two screws in here, and discovered that despite the instructions, this was not sitting square to the floor. So, undoing the back nut, I see that that's about 1 centimetre out. I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of fettling on this job, so I'm going to re-drill the hole here, put the bolt through and start again. That's that side done, ready for the bed. Sits like that, sits nice and flush there. Lift that up, down it goes. It still doesn't look right, does it? So that's hitting that as well. Okay, this bit about it being 14 inches is wrong. I'm going to have to take this down until that lies level. And of course that will lie back a bit here. If I do this, you'll see what I mean. So, right, okay. Okay, well the story so far is, let's pull it out a bit, there we go. Now you can see I've re-drilled that, that's fixed there, those are fixed there. This is the position that the bed lies flat in, give or take. It's got a little bit of movement there. That'll be taken up with some supports later on, and of course the back sitting on it like that. So when we sit it up as a chair, you can see that this is not lying flat, so we're going to have to take a bit off the top of this and measure it. With the back on here, I was a bit concerned I might not be able to get to these screws here. We'll give it a go once it's all in place and all together and see what happens. So see if we do have to take it out and start again. Thing to do is the one on the passenger side. I can't get this out the way. It's underneath here. It's underneath here, underneath here. And I just cannot fathom how to get all this out without smashing it up, which is a shame when it's really good. And it's handy for my radio, batteries, and things like that. So, what I'm going to do now is cut a hole here out the hardboard, then cut away the carpet, then measure it up and see what we're left with as gap and all that sort of stuff again. So we've got the other one lined up, ready to go, drilled the hole. It's an awful big gap there. I'll have to make that up by putting across sheets of wood. There's no wheel arch on this side, of course, and that is the problem. Wheel arch is under here, but I want to keep the sink. Again. Pressing down, turning the nut. Pressing down, turning the nut. There we go. With these side pieces, they took a lot more work than I was expecting. The plans were okay, and I've ended up with more or less what I was supposed to. Right then, folks, the side pieces are now finished and supported. The plans were a bit meh. They didn't quite butt up tight here, so by the time I fitted them, that was when I discovered how to cut them. As you can see, I've got a huge gap here, which doesn't need to be here at all. It's going to be convenient for running pipes through, but it doesn't need to be there. There's a huge gap down the side here. Things could fall down there, live down there. So I've made up these little kind of like shelf things that are going to go against it. Make this nice and rigid then, and we can measure the width of the seats. So I thought I'd show you them in position now. whilst I can, and you can see the workings of them. I'm going to put a bit of batten on the side now, on the sides, both sides, put the little shelves in, put the front on for stability, and then we'll get on with measuring the widths of the seats and making up the seats. You can see it's nice and stable there now. Still got a little bit of wobble, and you've got a little bit of wobble in the hinges, so we can take up a bit of room with that. Measuring, be mindful that this step back here and this step back here on both sides means that the seat is slightly wider than the back. Measured it 97.5 centimetres on this one and 99 centimetres on that one. The length between there and where it rests is 17 inches. 16.5 inches or 42 centimetres. But we'll measure that out now, and we'll double check it by putting a plank across here and seeing exactly where that lies level with that. Right then folks, I'm going to be honest with you. There comes a point where you get fed up of straggling around inside the bus. So I know that this fits now. I fitted that in the bus. I've taken the whole thing out to come down here to give myself a bit more room. The base, as you can see, doesn't quite go down here. Won't on the other side, so again I've got to cut out a little rebate here. Then I can fix the base into place, the seat into place, and then I'm going to get on with cutting the foam and covering. And due to the rain, I've moved into the garage, not my garage, friend's garage. I got to the point of stumbling around in the bus itself, where I had everything stable. I've got the back bit connected to the hinges, so that these are always going to stay pretty much in the same place. Not going to move a great deal. Allowed me to measure the seat bit. Now the back is 42 centimetres high, and the seat is 48 centimetres long. Partly because some of the seat goes underneath the back. Making these holes in the hinges as guidelines, I've drilled through and put these little things. These are called T-nuts. There's one. And that actually digs into the wood, and it's going to hold it captive forever. And then I've got some little screws on the other side, little dome head, Allen key screws on the other side that allow us to tighten it all up nice. It also means that when the cushion's on there, it's relatively smooth. The foam I've got I bought from Southern Foam. I suspect they deliver, because they were just down the road from me. I went and got it. The foam I've got is 4 inches thick, which might be a bit thick actually, and it is fire retardant. Best to go to these places and make sure that you're getting what you want to get. You can see this is really quite a dense foam. I bought some other foam which was you can see that this is really quite a dense foam. I bought some other foam which wasn't anywhere near as good as this, and it wasn't anywhere near the price of this either. So there we go. So now I'm going to mark it up and cut it down. Okay, some more freehand camera work, don't you just love it? Well, that's the back. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've put a reinforcing bar in. I didn't like the way it was flexing. If I'm going to sleep on it, it's going to be reinforced. screw holes I've left exposed. I had a bit of difficulty doing the base bits, so they're going to go together now. And the truth is that it's a lot easier to put the back on when the hinges aren't in the bus. Mainly, if I show you the hinge now, that screw there gets buried underneath this here. Sorry, that screw there gets buried under this part of the hinge, and you cannot get to it. So, or easily anyway. So it's going to go back together. Then I'm going to take a run up to the bus and fit the whole thing in one go. Wish me luck, chaps. Cheers. Well, there you go. Whole lot of fettling later. We're back up at the camper van. See if the batteries in the camera last long enough for me to be able to show you exactly what I'm doing here. Alright. We have the base sorted out. Which actually is the wrong way up, which is handy. Because working in a confined space is what you want, is everything where you don't want it. So, first things first, mount the wooden brackets to the hinges. Bit of fettling gone on there. There's a groove at the back here for the hinge to settle into, so the bed lies flat on that, so the seat lies flat on that. The little gap down the side has little chocks here to rest on. I'm going to fix them later. The front won't be fitted. I've got drill holes for speakers and things like that in that. Other than that, we're raring to go, so I'll work as quickly as I can, and when it comes to it, I'll see if I can't speed it up in the edit, as they say. Right. Oh, the bit we've all been waiting for. You just love working in confined spaces. I know I do. There we go. Right, lots happened since last time here. These are all nice and varnished now. The mounts are nicely varnished here as well. You can't really see them, but there's one over in the background over there. I've decided that, as this is the bit that goes underneath the seat, I'll show you me fitting this now, and it sits on here like that. Of course, with my weight I'm going to be pushing it down this way quite a lot, getting on and off the bed, so it'll be going like that and pushing this back. I've decided to reinforce this, but it's all varnished up now, ready to go in. Got a couple of bits of angle that are going to go on the bracket, and then screw onto here. These of course then sit on here with the hinge in there, and we should be hot to trot. Just gonna start fitting it. I'll move the camera and start fitting it. So the next bit is the foot for it to sit on. Now, I've got this one propped up here. Oops. As you can see, sits nice and flat like that now. Pull it forwards. Oops. Pull it forwards to go into the position. Then slide this that way round where you want it. Slide it in till it butts up to this bit, and put the holes in where it sits. It will be supported by this a little bit. So I'm going to do it and see how close we get. I'll lie down there when I do it. So as I say, slide it in like that. It's the way you want it. Goes there, like that. I don't know if you can see that, but I can, obviously. There we go. Now, line that up. In goes the other one. Making them line up as best as we can. And we have one nice solid rock and roll bed, which simply converts back to a nice comfy seat. Who's flipping Ray, that's all I can say. It's taken me ages to do this. Awful lot of fettling, not least of which was figuring out how to fill in these two gaps at the side here. There we go. So that's me. Well, that's me. That's my rock and roll bed done. Enjoy. I hope you find it easier than I did. I say, measure the lug points several times first, even down to drilling them and mocking up a batten or something with the holes in the right places, and then build it away from the bus. Two of you put it in. It's so much easier. Right, that goes there now. We're all done. Lovely jubbly. There we go, look. I'm so impressed with this, I tell you. Dunk, 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 dunk. So much flipping easier than before, so much easier. Blasted finger again, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, comment. Cheers guys.